Kick by Matt Bard. Delighted to have you with us here on NBC. It's Deacon Turner at his 8-yard line. 20. Hit there, and down he goes. Tom Graves, the rookie linebacker out of Michigan State, is the man who made the tackle as Turner reached the 21-yard line. And there you see at Ohio State backfield Griffin and Johnson with the veteran Anderson.
And Anderson is healthy. He sprained his thumb last week against the St. Louis Cardinals. Didn't practice the first 2 days of the week, but he appears to be fine.
And a great core of receivers, particularly with Curtis back in the fold again, Bobby.
Agreed totally. Don Bass is the most consistent receiver, has been this season for the Bengals.
And they slot Archie Griffin on a wing to the left. One setback, it's Johnson. He gets the call. Nothing doing. The 259-pound fullback from Ohio State was met head-on by the middle linebacker Jack Lambert, and the strong safety Donnie Shell. No gain on the play. And the offensive line, particularly the left side where they ran on first down, has been very effective for Cincinnati, running the ball much better than earlier in the year. Wilson and Bushnock the reason for that.
Also a couple of names in there. Dave Lapham at center was guard, and Max Montoya. He is a rookie out of UCLA, starting his second game for the Bengals.
Second down, 10 yards to go for Kenny Anderson. Again, Griffin goes on the wing to the left. Bass is slotted to the right. And Archie goes in motion. Anderson's first pass of the day. Throws it down here. It's caught. A flag is down as he hit his tight end, Dan Ross, out of bounds at the 35-yard line. That will be good enough for a Cincinnati first down, but let us check the marker.
I think they got Cincinnati for holding. Yes, they did. Sam, I might mention at the outset of the game that the Cincinnati Bengals have not won here in Three River Stadium in 9 tries, and as a traveling team in 1979, the Bengals are yet to win their first ball game. They're 0-6.
Here is referee Jim Tunney.
Holding 77, takedown.
Takedown.
So Mike Wilson gets credit for 2 points on the takedown. And while you saw referee Tunney, here's the rest of the crew. Pat Harder is the umpire, Burl Toller the head linesman, Dale Hamer the line judge, Pat Knight is the back judge, Dick McKenzie the side judge, and Don Hicks is the field judge. The front four of Pittsburgh, Dunn and Banaszak, will alternate today with White and Furness. Every second series they will change. It is second down, 19 for Anderson. Throws it over the middle, and it's dropped at the 20-yard line. Excellent coverage by Jack Ham, as the pass was intended again for the tight end, Danny Ross.
Jack Ham, number 59 out of Penn State, leads all active receivers in the NFL in interceptions. And this gentleman, because of the greatness of the defensive front four of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's around the receiver all the time. Watch the coverage. Questionable as to whether or not he got to the ball before he got to the receiver, but nevertheless, it's an incompletion. Jack Ham at 220 pounds, one of the greatest linebackers to ever play the game, and the other two aren't bad that he plays with, especially Lambert in the middle, who leads the Steelers in interceptions this season.
Dunn is out. Dennis Winston becomes the fourth linebacker on 3rd and 19 for Anderson from his goal line. Throws it out here, and it's almost intercepted. Again, he intended the pass for his tight end, Dan Ross. He overthrew him. Shell and Ham had the coverage. And the Steeler defense, gunned up today, has done business here on the first offensive series against Cincinnati. And so Pat McInally, the third leading punter in the AFC, is on to do his thing. McInally averaging 41-9. He led the entire American Football Conference last year with an average of 43-1.
Sam, one of the problems is playing football in this stadium is there always seems to be a wind swirling around, and McInally's first kick will be against that wind.
You saw T. Bell momentarily back at the 50-yard line. Good snap, McInally. Oh, he booms the beauty. Into the wind, driving Bell to the 43-yard line. 50, 45 of Cincinnati. He's got blockers, but he's brought down as he reaches the 42. Stopped there by Vaughn Lusby, number 29, a 45-yard punt, and a 13-yard return for Bell. So the Steelers, their first offensive possession of the day, they have excellent field position. We'll be back with Terry Bradshaw and company in just a moment. Pittsburgh, nice to have you with us. Cincinnati in trouble already, Robert.
Good field position by Pittsburgh. I brought with me one of the gloves that the players now use in bad weather games, you see. It's a little thinner than a baseball glove. It fits their hand very well. Doesn't keep your hand warm, but it does keep it from being slippery. Good gloves to wear on a day like this, Sam.
May I use the prop, please?
Yes, you may.
Bradshaw on first down, whistles all over the place, as the ball carrier was Franco Harris, but a whistle, I think, before they ever got started there. Offsides against Cincinnati, encroachment by referee Jim Tunney. Let us now establish the offensive unit of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They will go with Terry Bradshaw, number 12 at quarterback, having another great year. Not quite as good as last year, but 22 touchdown passes. Rocky Blyer starts for the injured Sidney Thornton, although Thornton is available. And, of course, the incomparable Franco Harris is also there. So it's first down and 5 as the Steelers get a gift before even running the play. Both receivers are split wide to the right. Stallworth, 82, Swan, 88. Harris comes back to the 30, the 28-yard line of Cincinnati. A first down brought down by Ray Griffin, number 44, starting at right cornerback. And that secondary of Cincinnati, suspect to say the least.
Well, I don't really think you can point the finger at the secondary. Watch the offensive line blocking. 52 Webster on 73 Edwards. Rocky Blyer leading on Jim LeClaire. And Franco Harris is through the line of scrimmage. The defensive linemen are at least supposed to slow those running backs down.
I didn't necessarily mean on that particular play, Bob. They've had some difficulty there with injuries.
Agreed.
Ken Riley is out. He will not play today. Here's a pitch to Harris. Cuts it into the line of scrimmage and reaches the 26 in the grasp of Gary Burley, the former University of Pittsburgh All-American who has come home, and middle linebacker Jim LeClaire. So give him a gain of 2. We'll watch Franco's stats very closely today because, as we told you on our pregame NFL 79 program, he's 65 yards away from 1,000.
And the receiver, John Stallworth, who now has over 1,000 yards in receptions. Benny Cunningham, bionic Benny Cunningham, healthy again. Lynn Swan, always an acrobatic, gifted receiver. And Mr. Bradshaw in
trying
control.
to keep his hands warm indeed, Robert. Second down and 8. Bradshaw's first pass of the day. Throws the wide receiver screen to Swan, and he could not hold on. Scott Perry, 32, had the coverage, but it's an incompleted pass, and I think the chills, everybody's got him today, at least to get started with.
Yeah, you're right. It takes a little while to get used to the weather out here, and the wind will make the ball swirl somewhat. Good coverage by Cincinnati, though. I don't think they got in a lot of yardage. There's the offensive line that, when you talk about Pittsburgh, their defensive line and their offensive line has been the secret over the years. Those guys last week, 606 total yards on offense.
Corson starts for the injured Jerry Mullins today at right guard, number 77. Third down and 8 for Bradshaw. Has all day to throw it. Still time. Throws one down here. Stallworth tried a one-handed catch. Ray Griffin had the coverage, but it was overthrown at the 5-yard line by Matt Barr, who is just brimming with confidence these days. He is 8 out of the last 9. He's won 3 games for Pittsburgh, including last Sunday's thriller over Cleveland. 3-0. Steelers will be back with Barr's kickoff in a second time in the ball game. This one following a 43-yard field goal. The wind has blown the ball off the kicking tee, and Barr will have to reset it.
Sam, as I remember, this is exactly the way the first Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game went. Steelers went out in front 3 to nothing. And then all of a sudden, they started turning the ball over, and Cincinnati came back.
You're 100% right. The only difference is that their field goal came as a result of a Dennis Winston interception. Here's Deacon Turner at his 2-yard line. Slips, keeps his footing to the 15, 20. Puts his head into a pile at the 23-yard line and goes down. He's stopped by Anthony Anderson, number 38, and number 39, Rick Mosher. Start the season off December 15th here on NBC. 2 setbacks, Griffin 45, Johnson 46, and Johnson gets the call. Oh, he is a bull, but he went down there. 3 of them, Lambert, Blunt, and Shell, were all there. It'll take 3 to bring Pete Johnson down.
That's one of the
Wagner. So there are some changes back there. They're great athletes, but they've had some problems. Second down, Anderson, the chase is on, and down he goes. Credit the sack to 64 Furness, but Dwight White was there to help him.
on the stunt. Steve Furness coming to the outside, Dwight White to the inside. And one of the problems with having young people play your offensive line position, and this is just the second season that Mike Wilson has played in professional football, they really don't have the experience in picking up the games that experienced defensive linemen use. You got to get away from those guys, keep them off your quarterback.
So it's third down and 18. Anderson last series had a third and 19.
I don't think Cincinnati's gained a yard yet in 2 possessions, Sam.
You may be right. Their third down efficiency is not the best, 33%. Anderson now chased out of the pocket. He's on the move. Looks and elects to go out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Run out by Dwight White. And so it'll be 4th down, and Pat McAnally presumably will have to kick it away, although there is a discussion going on the far side of the field. And we'll just have to wait until referee Jim Tunney straightens this one out. Apparently, it's a flag against Pittsburgh because the Cincinnati offense has remained on the field.
That one I didn't see, Sam.
I don't think anybody saw it. Here's referee Jim Tunney. He knows all about it. Ooh, defensive holding against Robin Cole, number 56, the outside linebacker. The 5 yards, but more importantly, an automatic first down. Let's look at the pressure again, Bob, on Anderson.
Furness, I felt that when Ernie Holmes was here, Steve Furness was a better defensive line. Great strength, and you see him push Glenn Bujnak back and force Kenny out of the pocket.
What a costly error by Pittsburgh. They would have gotten the ball back, but Anderson now can recycle the downs. Throws it over the middle. He's got Ross's tight end to the 30-yard line. And Blunt has to wrestle him out at the 33. Cole was also there, but an excellent gain on the pass to the tight end. Here's our first score of the day. Washington on a Joe Theismann to Ricky Thompson pass leads Green Bay 7-0. The Redskins in the thick of the NFC Eastern Division race.
There's Mr. Anderson, completing 54% of his passes, thrown 13 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Been sacked 33 times, which is Kenny's biggest problem, which of course is Cincinnati's biggest problem, and that's the head coach of the Bengals, so it's his biggest problem too.
And the man behind him, the throwing Samoan Jack Thompson, their #1 draft choice, the third man selected in the '79 draft. Another first down for Cincinnati. And the give this time is to Johnson. And he carries people across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Ham was there along with Ron Johnson, number 29.
Okay.
And off the bottom of the pile is the middle linebacker Lambert. But Cincinnati now, with the help of a penalty, is on the move. And it happens invariably, doesn't it,
running
Bob?
right at Joe Green. Good trap block by Glenn Bujnak. Pete Johnson a little anxious to get through the line of scrimmage. But at 260 pounds, he's liable to drag a couple of tacklers along. He's trying for 1,000 yards this season.
He has been a prolific scorer this year. 13 touchdowns, 12 of them on the ground. He is the second touchdown scorer to Earl Campbell. First down and much more for Johnson as he goes across midfield to the Steeler 48-yard line. So Cincinnati now starting to put their offense in gear. And the shuttling guards, Montoya, the rookie out of UCLA, and the veteran Mark Donahue from Michigan, bring in the plays from Homer Rice.
Big Pete's got 708 yards so far this season. Maybe a little optimistic to think that he can get 1,000, but he's a load when he gets going, Sam.
Griffin and Johnson remain the setbacks. As of late, Cincinnati has kept the same pair in there. Throws the home run ball downfield, and it's almost caught to Don Bass. He had single coverage from Mel Blunt, and it was slightly overthrown by Anderson, but Bass made a valiant effort.
And I would imagine that Cincinnati will try to work on Mel Blunt. He is a great zone cornerback, but he's big. He's 6'3", weighs 215 pounds. But in man-to-man coverage, there are a lot of receivers in professional football that are quicker than Mel Blunt. Last week, Dave Logan, as you said earlier, Sam, took advantage of Mel Blunt a couple of times.
And earlier this year at Cleveland, Dave Logan scored 2 touchdowns against Mel Blunt. But he has been a great one over the years.
Absolutely, one of the best cornerbacks there is in the business, especially in a zone situation.
Second down, 10. Curtis is wide left, Bass to the bottom of your screen, and Anderson will throw it again. Over the middle, Griffin, 45, first down to the 39-yard line. In the grasp of Blunt and Ham, but not before little Archie Griffin, the 2-time Heisman Trophy winner, got the first down, and he is catching the ball this year better than at any time in his life.
He's the second leading receiver on the Cincinnati Bengals. And he's a young man who you can't put his heart in this stadium, Sam. He wants to be the best running back there is in the business. Came out of college at Ohio State. Wasn't much of a pass receiver, but has really worked hard to become a very good pass receiver.
From the 39-yard line of Pittsburgh, and the crowd here, 50,000 strong, starts to light it up. Griffin breaks a tackle, breaks another one to the 30-yard line. Look at the great effort by Archie Griffin, the number 2 rusher and the number 2 receiver on the Cincinnati squad. He is within a half yard of another Cincinnati first down.
At 5'8" and 185 pounds, there's Chuck Noll. If you watched the first Cincinnati Bengal-Pittsburgh Steeler game, you saw a rare sight. Chuck Noll absolutely infuriated at his team turning the ball over and hanging their heads on the sideline.
Yeah, I think it was the hanging of the heads that bothered him more than the turnovers, Bob. Second down, less than a yard. They line up in the I formation for the first time today. And they give it to the up-back Johnson. First down as he reaches the 36-yard line. Robin Cole is a man who made the stop. You know who's doing some great blocking up front is Dave Lapham, the converted guard, who's been forced to play center because Blair Bush went down.
In fact, the Bengals were so desperate to get somebody at center, they brought back their first ever draft choice. My roommate for 10 years with the Cincinnati Bengals, Bob Johnson, who, if he has to play center, will be doing it at 220 pounds.
From the 26, Cincinnati got a break on a third down play in which they did not get a first down. Robin Cole, defensive holding, first down, and Cincinnati driven it down the field. This one is caught at the 20-yard line by Griffin. It'll be a gain of about 6 on the play, second down and 4, so Anderson has mixed the run and the pass very well. And as he always has done, and particularly against Pittsburgh, has gone to his backs.
And Sam, I mentioned earlier that Pittsburgh's offense last week against Cleveland had 606 yards. There's one way to neutralize that. That's to keep the ball for a long time.
You got it.
I mean, Cincinnati keep the ball for a long time.
This is an excellent drive. Second down and 4. They are within range for Chris Barr already to tie it. Pittsburgh leads 3-0. Johnson to about the 18-yard line. Stacked up there by Joe Green, 75. He needs no introduction, I'm sure, at the bottom of the pile, so it'll be shy of a first down. Steve Furness was also there. It'll be third down and about 2 for Cincinnati to keep this drive alive.
You know, this Pittsburgh Steelers football team seemed to turn around with the draft choice of Joe Green back in 1968. That was the one person that really solidified their defense. There's Homer Rice with Chris Barr, older brother of Matt.
Chris Barr getting ready to do his thing and answer his brother's field goal if he can. Third and 2. Anderson wants to put it up. Throws it out here and in behind his intended receiver, Griffin, or Johnson it is. Jack Ham had the coverage and was there with Pete. And so it's fourth down, and Chris Barr will now attempt the field goal. He is 11 out of 19 on the year.
And doesn't want to be shown up by his little brother, I'm sure, especially in front of father,
front of Dad,
right?
Sure. They'll spot the ball at the 27-yard line. It'll be a kick of 37 yards for Chris Barr. Steve Kreider on the hold. The placement, the kick is up, and it is wide right.
Low snap.
Kreider juggled the snap from center, had trouble putting it down, so the score remains 3-0. Chris Barr has missed. His brother Matt watches on the sidelines, no telling what his emotion is. We'll return to Three Rivers Stadium in a moment.
Wait till you see what they did to my car.
With the Cordoba, we went back to the drawing boards. We wanted to get the gas mileage up, but not at the expense of the styling.
Introducing the totally redesigned Chrysler Cordoba. All the luxury you expect is here. But so is gas mileage. You can have high style and good mileage. The new Cordoba proves it. I like what they've done to my car.
Buy a Cordoba now at participating dealers. Get a $300 check direct from Chrysler.
Do you know me? Playing football, sure. But my name comes up 0 in English rugby. So when I travel, I carry the American Express card. And even if I fumble and lose it, they'll give me another card fast. Usually the next business day. Lose the card and I'm protected. You can lose your life in there.
To apply for a card, look for this display wherever the card is welcomed.
From the 20-yard line, Terry Bradshaw, second possession of the day. They got 3 points out of their first drive. From his own 20-yard line, Rocky Blyer, big hole through the middle, gets 6 yards to the 26, brought down by Ross Browner. Now, next Sunday, we invite you to see a dynamite doubleheader featuring exciting regional action from around the league, followed by the Browns versus the Raiders from the Oakland Alameda Coliseum. Bob and I will have the pleasure of doing that one next Sunday afternoon. We invite you to check your local listings for the games and times in your area.
What an air show that might be in Oakland, huh? Brian Sight versus Ken Stabler.
The S's, huh? Second down, 4. This is Franco. Good move. Reaches the 30 and gets the first down. Cameron, the linebacker, is a man who made the stop along with LeClaire. And Glenn Cameron has had to play today for the injured Reggie Williams as we look at that Cincinnati defense. The front 4 is intact, but the rest is patchwork.
Those four gentlemen right there began the season as the real strong point of the Cincinnati Bengals. The linebackers, Tom Dinkle replacing Reggie Williams out with knee surgery. LeClaire and Harris, good linebackers.
First down from the 31 of Pittsburgh. The Steelers stay on the ground. Myers, 35, 40. Fumbles the ball, and Pittsburgh, I think, got it back. John Stallworth, number 82, was out blocking. Recovered the fumble after Blyard picked up 9 yards, and I think the fumble recovery enabled them to get the first down.
That was a great block by Franco Harris, but you'll see it's cold. Ray Griffin putting his head in there. The ball is loose. And Stallworth, Johnny on the spot, keep the drive alive. And that's the problem the Pittsburgh Steelers have had. They lead the league in turnovers. 49, I believe.
45, I think the number
45,
is, but
yes.
what difference does it make? You're right, Bob. They lead the entire NFL. Bradshaw throws it out here. It's tipped and almost intercepted. He tried to get it out in the flat, but Wilson Whitley got a hand on it, and Bradshaw kind of nonchalant that pass. And I got a feeling the cold is really bothering him, Bob. He's played in worse weather, though, I can assure you.
Yeah, but he does look cold. Watch Webster, 52 on Wilson Whitley, 75. Passed off to Sam Davis, number 57. Gets a little crowded out there. And a jump ball.
And Whitley almost got back to pick it off.
Yes, he did.
Second down 10 for the Pittsburgh 42. The Steelers lead it 3-0. Now the wide receiver screen is on. They got blocker. 50, 45. He's gone. They'll never get him. 58-yard touchdown pass.
Pittsburgh caught him, Sam. Cincinnati was in a blitz. The linebacker on that side trying to get in there and get his hands up, and once Swan caught the ball, there was nobody there. The only people that were there were the cornerback and the safety, and they had 3 linemen out in front. You can see the blitz by Bo Harris, and there's nobody left. Swanee is gone. 58 yards and a touchdown, and they can do it that quick to you. 80-yard drive.
And only the 3rd touchdown reception of the year for Lynn Swan. 80 yards, 4 plays, elapsed time, 2 minutes and a second. Matt Barr will attempt to make it 10-0. And he did. So the Steelers strike with lightning as a flag is down on the play. And they're being called back on the field. Let's see whether or not it is against Pittsburgh. It is indeed. So Barr will have to do it again.
Holding.
On an extra point?
Well, I think what they probably called was the guy on the outside hooking, holding, putting his arm out there to try to keep the outside rush man away from the kicker. But 10 yards, and he'll try to do it again.
Now it becomes a mini field goal. Here's Jim Tunney.
Holding 56, that's the outside man.
Well, obviously, we're having difficulty with the referee's mic. We apologize for that. Of course, those microphones don't belong to us. We wouldn't have those kinds of problems. They belong to the National Football League. Barr will have to try a 30-yard extra point. Out of Colquitt's hold, it's down and up. And this one is perfect. So challenged a bit, Mr. Barr responds with a 30-yard extra point. He's having a nice day. His brother hasn't enjoyed it yet. 10-0 Pittsburgh as you look at the tail end of Lynn Swan's 52-yard touchdown reception against Cincinnati. We'll be back.
You give a man a go.
From the 32-yard line. First down, and Johnson on the sweep again. Runs head on into Gary Dunn and may have gotten a yard, and here's our first score from down the turnpike. Brian Sipe, a 42-yard pass to Mike Pruitt. The Cleveland Browns lead the Houston Oilers 7-0. Sam Retigliano's crew has not quit yet.
The cardiac kids up there in Cleveland, they are amazing. They extended this football team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, to the end. Took them 74 minutes and 51 seconds to beat the Cleveland Browns last week with a field goal.
And remind me, after this play, I have a question to ask you, Robert, about that situation.
Okay.
Second down and 9, a gain of 1 by Pete Johnson. Well, he's had a nice year. He's led this team in rushing every year he's been in Cincinnati. They got him trapped. Down he goes. He tried to throw the swing pass to Pete Johnson, who I don't believe was looking.
Well put. Absolutely, Sam. Pete Johnson never turned around to look at the quarterback. and you don't have all day to throw it back there against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Joe Green got him, number 75. It'll be 3rd and long, and the question, Bob, what about that extra period for Pittsburgh? Does it take its toll in this game or later in the year or never?
No, I think it takes a toll on the next game. Maybe not physically, but emotionally, I think those players were very, very drained. They had to come back. The Pittsburgh Steelers had to come back, and they're probably down a little bit. But they got revenge on their mind here.
3rd down and 22. Dirk Winston has gone in as the 4th linebacker, and that cheer you heard was because they announced the Cleveland score.
Pete Johnson's open.
Anderson scrambles, still in bounds, and finally gets out just before he got hit by Dirk Winston. Well, you may have heard Bob holler, Pete Johnson is open, but Anderson apparently didn't see him.
Well, one of the things you do as a receiver, you practice, watch the defensive coverage here. An extra defensive back in there. And there's not too many open, but you'll see Pete Johnson come into the open. Right there, he's open. But Kenny Anderson would have had to throw back across his body. Chose to run it. Anyway, 4th down and about 12 yards to go. Cincinnati hasn't done very well so far, except for the one drive.
Pat McAnally, the 4-year veteran out of Harvard, set to punt. Back at his 15-yard line, kicking to T. Bell. 13 yards on Bell's first return of the day. Fair catch here at the 35-yard line. And that's where Pittsburgh will go to work. Let's quickly switch to Bryant Gumbel in New York.
On their own 36-yard line. Bryant Gumbel in
45-yard line. On 1st down, following the McAnally punt, Bradshaw threw to his back out of the backfield. Bo Harris, 53, and Marvin Cobb made the stop, but a big 1st down there.
That's one of the changes in the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Last week, Franco Harris caught 9 passes from Terry Bradshaw. And this is the first year that I can ever remember Pittsburgh really going to their backs that much. Rocky Bleier had 7 catches.
And I'll tell you why, Bob, because linebackers in San Diego dropped 20 yards deep to double cover the receivers, and the only thing they gave Bradshaw was the pass to the backs. Harris running laterally, lost a couple of yards. Dick Geron is the man who ran him down, but the reason he's had to go to his backs is because of the linebacker coverage from both Cleveland and San Diego the week before.
Well, to be very honest with you, Sam, as a former player against these guys for 10 years, it's difficult to figure out how to beat this football team. This is one of the best teams ever assembled, I think, in professional football. Of the 45 players, 39 are draft choices, 6 are free agents. It was hand-built by Mr. Chuck Noll.
Philadelphia Eagles have gone on top of Detroit 7-0. The Eagles can smell a title. The NFC Eastern Division up for grabs. Philadelphia, Dallas, Washington, they are all there. 2nd down and 12 for Bradshaw. Throws it over the middle. He's got Swan at the 30. Good move at the 20. He's got blocking. 10, 5, out of bounds at the 3.
Coverage by Scott Perry, who slipped down. Lynn Swan, when he has to, can run with the football, number 88, out of USC. And who can ever forget the game he had in Super Bowl 13? Watch this broken field running. Dick Geron missed tackle, number 30. Marvin Cobb is next. Good blocking by his fellow receivers downfield. Stalwart, Rocky Bleier, number 20. Finally driven out of bounds by Ray Griffin, number 44. 1st and 2 to go for another 6 points.
In fairness to Scott Perry, he's played out of position. He normally is a free safety, having to play quarterback today. 1st down and goal to go from the 2. Bleier in motion, it's Franco. Got maybe a yard of it, pushed back. 79 is Ross Browder. And also number 51, Tom Root. And Houston has answered Sipes' touchdown with one of their own. Earl Campbell, an 11-yard run. And so the Oilers and Browns are knotted at 7.
And remember, Sam, if Cleveland loses, if Houston loses, and Pittsburgh wins, Pittsburgh is in the playoffs for sure.
I think it's if Houston wins and Pittsburgh wins. They're both guaranteed wild card spots.
What did I say?
I think you said if Houston loses.
Excuse me. You're
From
right.
1 yard out, it's Franco putting his head in there, and I don't know. No signal. He may have reached the goal line, but there is no signal from the officials.
That's probably the warmest spot on the field right there, Sam, underneath all those heavy bodies.
Well, they got to run 100 yards now to the other end of the field because we have completed 1 quarter here at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. And the Steelers, by virtue of a Matt Barr field goal and a 58-yard pass from Bradshaw to Swan, lead it 10-0. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Pittsburgh already leading 10-0. Perhaps looking for the early blowout, but Cincinnati has not willed it. In 2 shots from the 2-yard line, the Steelers have netted 1.5 yards. Franco, touchdown.
Interesting play.
Randy Grossman, number 84, led the way, and Franco went right over his back into the end zone.
63 yards, 6 plays, 2 minutes and 17 seconds. And it's interesting that they bring Randy Grossman in to block at 6'2", 215 pounds, and Benny Cunningham stays on the bench. You see Grossman on the trap with the nose man, Wilson Whitley. Mike Webster pulls, Franco Harrison's in.
So Matt Barr will attempt to make it 17-0 out of a Colquitt hold. Placement of the kick is up, and it is perfect. So Barr has had himself a nice day. Couple of extra points and a field goal while his brother watches from the other end of the field. Ready to receive it for the 3rd time with the Steelers leading 17-0. You saw the great run by Campbell. The snow has started to fall in Cleveland. Turner at the 13-yard line. 25 breaks this one out over the 30 to the 34-yard line. And so Kenny Anderson goes to work with some decent field position. Stopped there by T. Bell, number 83. You know, NBC Sports, we feel we've got the best of bowl games for you beginning Christmas Day. The Fiesta Bowl, the Panthers of Pittsburgh battle Arizona. Then New Year's Day, the Buckeyes of Ohio State take on Charles White and the USC Trojans in the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. Then the undefeated Florida State Seminoles face Billy Sims and the Oklahoma Sooners. That will be in the Orange Bowl in Miami. All coming your way here on NBC. Anderson on first down has a man wide open. It's Isaac Curtis at the 45. Into Pittsburgh territory at the 45 and finally brought down by Jack Ham. But a big Cincinnati first down as they move the ball.
One of the tags against the Bengals offensive line has been not allowing Kenny Anderson enough time to pass the ball. Here you see 75, Joe Green, Mark Donahue, 66, doing a great job on him. Doing a heck of a job on him. Kenny gets time to throw the football. That's Bushnock helping out. And you get enough time to throw the ball to Isaac Curtis.
So a gain of 21 yards on the completion. We'll have some scores for you right after this play. Griffin the deep back for a couple of yards to the 43. The Green Bay Packers have come back to tie up Washington 7-7. You see the game we've been covering very closely, Houston and Cleveland. The Bears on a Walter Payton run lead Tampa Bay 7-0. 3-3 Baltimore and the New York Jets. And Philly still leads Detroit 7-0. We gave you that score early. They have gone to the second quarter. Denver on a Jim Turner field goal over Buffalo in the snow at Rich Stadium. Boy, our crew had a difficulty getting into that city.
2 feet of snow in Buffalo.
And a Lynn Dickey touchdown pass. Green Bay has tied Washington. You are up to date. It's 17-0 Steelers here. Over the middle, he's got a man at the 33-yard line. Again, his tight end, Dan Ross. They are fighting for the ball, and they give it to the offense. Donnie Shell is not happy.
Very seldom is. Tough football player, that Donnie Shell. Dan Ross, second-round draft choice out of Northeastern. Good pass receiver. You see he has control of the football. And when Donnie Shell tries to wrestle from him, going to the ground, they're always going to give that to the offense. First down now for Cincinnati.
Something about Dan Ross, who's only a rookie out of Massachusetts. He has excellent games against Pittsburgh. He caught his only touchdown pass of the year in Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati, against the Steelers. They got a blitz on. Throw it out here, and Ross just missed the connection. Shell had the coverage, but it was Ross again. And, Bob, is there anything significant about the fact that Anderson is now thrown to Danny Ross 6 times today?
No, I think one of the things you're noticing here is that Pittsburgh is going a lot more to the blitz. So they run the 2 wide receivers deep, throw to the tight end underneath. No, it's just good football. There's nothing wrong with that. That's well thought out. That's the way you're going to gain a lot of yards against Pittsburgh.
I always thought it was interesting that Cincinnati passed Kellen Winslow because they felt they would get an equal tight end in the second round to Dan Ross.
They took Dan Ross because he had more speed than Kellen Winslow. Basically why.
Winslow is alive and well in San Diego and may just be the best tight end to come into this league in years. Anderson throws it out here and overthrows Isaac Curtis. And he had Curtis wide open. Isaac had put a pretty good fake on Ronnie Johnson, making the cornerback think he was going deep. but instead made the sideline cut.
And Mr. Anderson's a little mad at himself, I do believe, on that one. He overthrew him a great deal. Max Montoya, number 65, coming in with the play from the sideline. Offensive coordinator Mike McCormick, Boyd Dollar, Homer Rice calling the plays on the sideline.
4 linebackers. Dirt Winston again on 3rd down and 10 from the Steeler 33-yard line. Burness is out. Only 3 down linemen for Pittsburgh, but they normally blitz out of this alignment. And here they come from the outside. Ham and Cole.
He's got room.
Looks downfield and out of bounds, shy of the first down as he went out of the 28-yard line. So Kenny Anderson scrambling for 5, comes up 5 short. It'll be 4th down and 5 yards to go, and Chris Barr, I believe, is on his way and will attempt second field goal of the
blitz, trying to fake Pete Johnson out. It's Archie Griffin. No, it was Pete Johnson. Now watch Jack Ham. Great speed at 220 pounds. Trying to get a glove on Ken Anderson, but still not enough yardage for the first down.
49-yard attempt for Chris Barr. He is 4 out of 7 over 40 yards. Very strong leg, and he has been incredibly accurate from long distances. He's got this one nailed. It is good. A 49-yard field goal by Chris Barr, who missed a considerably shorter one earlier in the game. So the 6th isn't for him. It's for his brother Matt, who plays in the other side.
Well, you never can tell. That might be the Barr family putting it up there, rooting for both sons. Difficult for the family to choose which one that they really care for the most, right?
Wrong. I think that is a Matt Barr fan club. But that was a good try anyway, Bob.
I suppose if the sign were orange and white, yes.
Yes.
It would be for Chris.
So Chris Barr, after a 49-yard field goal, kicking deep here. Anthony Anderson is the man in the middle for Pittsburgh. And he has the ball at his 7-yard line. The rookie out of Temple, 25, 30, and down he goes right on the 30-yard line. NBC Sports World salutes the champions of '79. We'll review the many magic moments with an exciting look at the year's major events, from Swan Super Bowl to Stargell Series and more. Do not miss Sports Year '79, a salute to the champions, coming up Saturday, December 22nd on NBC Sports World. Sounds like an all-Pittsburgh show with Swan and Stargell, doesn't it?
Yes, they've changed the name of the Steel City to Championship City here in Pittsburgh, and it's a little tough to deal with when you're from Cincinnati.
Yes, I guess. From the 30-yard line, both wide receivers have split left. Franco Harris for 5 to the 37-yard line. Brought down there by Jimmy Browner, the younger brother of defensive end Ross Browner. So Harris moving inexorably to the 65-yard mark for the day, which will get him to 1,000. And 67 yards, as Bob told you earlier, will make him the 4th leading rusher in the history of the National Football League. He'll leapfrog over Joe the Jet Perry.
And 3 of those rushers wore number 32.
Interesting.
Brown, Simpson, and then Franco Harris.
And Jim Taylor is the other one still ahead of him.
He was 31.
Ooh, it was covered. He looked one way. Now he throws it deep, and he's got Stallworth, and he dropped the ball. Well, the play was not designed to go to Stallworth, but he was wide open for the first time today. Bradshaw threw to number 82. And as Swan did on his first attempt, he dropped it.
One of the problems with playing in cold weather, Sam, is that at times as a receiver, you try to catch the ball at your body. The ball is not touched by Ray Griffin. I don't believe he touched, well, he may have touched a little bit, but you should try to catch the football with your hands. Yes, he did touch it. He changed the rotation on the football. You can see it. Yes, he did touch it. Good play by Ray Griffin. Can't blame John Stallworth for that one.
It's amazing what a replay can do to vindicate somebody, huh?
Yes.
11:28 to go first half. 17-3 Steelers, and Bradshaw wants more. Oh, and he threw it in behind Blyer at the 40-yard line. Jim LeClaire had the coverage, so it's 4th down, and Craig Colquitt on to do the punting for the Steelers. The first time today they've had to punt the ball away.
Last week, Rocky Blyer, 7 receptions against the Cleveland Browns, and Mr. Bradshaw's a little mad at himself. That should have been an easy reception. There's the defensive coverage of the Cincinnati Bengals. Blyer out of the backfield, covering the guys deep. Blyer missed the pass.
Also, Marvin Cobb has gone back to cornerback where he played last week. Scott Perry is out. Here's a kick by Colquitt, and he did not get it all. Fair catch being called for at the 37-yard line by Mike Levenseller.
An NFC East title.
Griffin in motion on first down. Anderson, good protection, throws it out here, and an excellent catch by Ross He got hit from behind by Donnie Shell at the 40-yard line. A gain of 4 yards, but a great catch by Ross, who's having another outstanding day against Pittsburgh.
Throwing short, Cincinnati is. But at the depth of the linebackers, you see Kenny just, once again, looking at the tight end. He was obviously the secondary receiver. But this is a fine tackle by Mr. Shell.
Third catch of the day by Ross, his 30th of the year. A rookie out of Massachusetts, out of northeastern in Massachusetts. Here's the give now to Johnson. Hanging on his ham, and help comes. In the person of Donnie Shell and a ton others, and you need that many people to bring Johnson down.
You know, it's interesting. Cincinnati has run the ball very well against Pittsburgh, and going into this game, Pittsburgh had not allowed a 100-yard rushing game in 6 games. The last team to gain 100 yards was the Cincinnati Bengals in that 34-10 victory over Pittsburgh in Cincinnati.
Charles the Great Alexander, the rookie out of LSU, had a marvelous afternoon against Pittsburgh at Riverfront Stadium. 91 yards. He has not been seen or heard from since, has he? Archie Griffin has been the man.
You're right.
3 wide receivers on 3rd down and 6. Steve Kreider joins Curtis and pass. Anderson fell down, and now they make the touch. Anderson fell down, backpedaling, and Lambert and Gary Dunn touched him, and the play is over. What a hard luck case there for Kenny Anderson.
Couldn't tell if he's tripped over somebody's feet or not.
I think his own.
Well, let's say it was somebody else's.
Why does Lambert look 65 years old in uniform?
Because he doesn't have any front teeth.
That's right. T. Bell is awaiting this kick from Pat McAnally. 17-3 Pittsburgh with 9:35 to go second quarter. And a line drive punt, the kind you return. And Bell will, 35. Oh, broke one tackle. And finally, Browner came back to get him again. Great effort by Jim Browner. Levenseller was also downfield. Bell returns it and sets up shop for the Steelers at the 38-yard line. We'll return to Three River Stadium with more action in just a moment.
Good. Now we can go to bed.
Wait a minute. I want to give you a gift while we're alone. It's something just for you.
A washer and dryer.
Now, come on, will you be serious?
Okay.
Close your eyes. Merry Christmas. Give her a diamond. It's forever.
Newport is a practical family car, but it still has plenty of class.
This is the efficient new Chrysler Newport. Chrysler engineered it to give you the room and ride of a Chrysler. But the Newport's priced less than the Delta 88 Royale or the Buick LeSabre Limited.
Over $100 less.
Maybe that's why they call this car the affordable Chrysler.
If you buy any car without considering Chrysler, that'll be too bad for both of us.
Buy a Newport now at participating dealers. Get a $300 check direct from Chrysler.
First quarter stats, passing the football, are those right up to date? I believe they are. Steelers 122 yards. The amazing thing, Bob, is that Bradshaw just 3 out of 8 for that total.
And the other amazing thing is Lynn Swan's got 103 of the 122-yard total and a touchdown.
First down, Pittsburgh, 38-yard line to the Steelers. Franco Harris, 32, and Blyer the setbacks. And the give is to Blyer, nothing doing. Stopped by middle linebacker Jim LeClaire, who leads this team in tackles with 92. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Your Steelers station, Channel 11, WIIC-TV, Pittsburgh.
Nice winter afternoon here at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. Once again, Sam Dover and Bob Trumpy, we're delighted to have you with us.
Franco Harris, Franco Harris, 8 carries, 21 yards, heading towards 65.
It is a second down and 9 at the 38-yard line as Bradshaw goes back to pass, throws it out here to Blyer. Trying to get a block from Davis and Webster, and he got knocked ahead 3 yards by Ross Browner. The former Outland Trophy winner from Notre Dame knocked Blyer ahead 3, so that was a successful venture for Blyer, not for Browner.
Ross has had a disappointing season by Cincinnati Bengals standards. Played 8 games last season. After having bicep surgery, missed the first half of the season, was absolutely awesome the final 8 games. This year really has not done that well for some particular reason.
How much of it is attributable to the fact that he can't freelance anymore? He can't do the things that he used to do.
Well, he's not playing in college football anymore. He's going to be part of a defense. He's not going to be out there by himself. He has to learn that.
3rd down and 5. Making the blitz, Leclerc goes back into pass coverage. Bradshaw looking downfield, got Swan wide open 35. And the chase is on. Out of bounds inside the 25. Geron ran him out. But Bradshaw and Swan have done that so often over the last 6 years. And Marvin Cobb had the coverage that time as Swan chased Perry out of the game.
Absolutely. Marvin Cobb comes in, and he's a strong safety. And you can see 2 SC graduates. The one in front can't be caught by the one behind. That's his 3rd reception, and he's well on his way to a 200-yard receiving game, is Lynn Swan. He had 103 and 2 catches and 1 touchdown. 3rd catch, that's 137 yards and 3 catches for Lynn Swan.
That's a season for some receivers, isn't it?
And Stallworth is the leading receiver on the team.
Hasn't caught one today from the 23 of Cincinnati. Bradshaw. Good protection over the middle of Franco. Inside the 20. To the 15-yard line. And down he goes after a gain of 8 yards. Stop is made by Glenn Cameron, number 50, the 5-year veteran out of Florida, along with Leclerc.
There's one thing about Franco Harris that has always impressed me as a football player. Whatever you want Franco Harris to do as a running back, he'll do it for you. If you got to give him the ball 41 times, he'll carry it, and he'll get the yards for you. If you want to throw it to him, he'll catch it. He'll block. He'll do anything. Very versatile running back.
Now this offensive unit is number 1 in the National Football
Here we come.
League.
That's a special play. Here we come.
Franco on the delay. Close to the 1st down. If it was, it didn't get much. A couple of yards. Leclerc is the man who wrapped his arms around Franco, very close to a 1st down.
I do think, though, that Terry Bradshaw was motioning to one of his outside receivers. It may be something they come to. Here you see Harris. He's going to carry the ball a lot today, trying to get that 1,000-yard season under his belt and become the 4th leading all-time rusher in the history of the NFL with 67 yards.
And an excellent tackle by Leclerc from behind. They spot that ball a yard shy of the 1st down. 3rd down, and let's call it less than 1. Steelers have Mullins, Peterson, and Grossman in there for blocking purposes. Grossman in motion. Here it's touchdown Steelers. No. Sorry, yard shy. I was a bit premature as I thought he had hit the big white line. That 5-yard line looked like it had double white stripes.
Shame on you, Sam. But there's a guy at 6'2", 225 pounds, who has the moves of a guy like Greg Pruitt out of Cleveland. Watch this move once he gets through the line of scrimmage. Grossman, Blyer leading. Great blocker is Rocky Blyer. Watch that move right there. Oh, you can't teach that. They come to the game with it, or they never gain it.
From the 1-yard line. Steelers try to blow them out early. Lead it 17-3. Bradshaw gives it to Blyer. Outside. That's a touchdown. 1-yard run by Robert Patrick Blyer. It's 23-3 Pittsburgh. As they seek revenge here from an earlier defeat at the hands of Cincinnati, they're well on their way.
This is the Bengal defense is giving up 358 yards a game, 140 rushing. That drive, 3 minutes and 30 seconds, 63 yards, 7 plays. Rocky Blyer for the last 1.5.
Well, they've been trying to chase Blyer out of there, Bob, as you well know, for years. This year, someone finally did move him aside a wee bit. Sid Thornton, but with the injury to Thornton, Blyer has come back to have another outstanding year.
Did I read a story about Sidney Thornton trying to cure his bad ankle by voodoo?
A young lady down in Louisiana apparently developed some kind of potion that included alcohol and ammonia and a bunch of other stuff, but the irony is that Thornton does not put the injured ankle into that stuff. He puts the good ankle in. And it's supposed to make him feel better, and he says it works.
Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me.
You know, there's a weekend full of football waiting for you on NBC. Next Saturday, it's a special edition of NFL 79. Then the heavy-hitting Denver Broncos face the high-flying Seattle Seahawks. And then on Sunday, there's a dynamite doubleheader featuring exciting regional action, followed by the Cleveland Browns against the Raiders, a possible wild card berth. Bob and I will have the pleasure of doing that one from the Oakland Alameda Coliseum. We invite you to check local listings for the game. Here with Donnie Shell. Jack Lambert came on the blitz and may have forced the pass to come a little early from Anderson.
Vanasak was also one of the gentlemen, number 76 of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who got Anderson on the ground, but you see almost a reception by Don Bass, who has been the most consistent receiver, but a timely hit by Donnie Shell. Bass can't hang on to it. Charles Alexander, incidentally, was open underneath that one. They may come back to it.
So the Steelers now are preparing for Houston's 3rd down and 6 situation. Take Furness out, put in an extra linebacker.
Cincinnati's.
What did I say?
You said Houston.
I'm wondering what's going on down there with Cleveland, Houston. That's why it's on my mind. 3rd down and 6 Bengals.
The blitz.
They pick it out, throw it out here all alone. Curtis, the flag is down. Curtis reversing his field. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
I think the flag is going to be on Pittsburgh. 47 Mel Blount, so the touchdown will count. The Bengals aren't out of it yet.
A 29-yard touchdown pass from Kenny Anderson to Isaac Curtis. The touchdown is good. The penalty against Pittsburgh, and they still haven't fixed the referee's mic.
Now, I played next to Isaac Curtis for 5 years, and this is what I remember Isaac Curtis looking like a few years ago. He had knee surgery 2 years ago. This is what he did best. When he got the football in his hands, nobody could stop him. Great touchdown, great pass by Anderson, and a good run by Isaac Curtis, and the characteristic over-the-shoulder 6-pointer.
And I think, as you said, Bob, the penalty was against Mel Blount for holding. Refused the touchdown good, and so is the extra point by Chris Barr. 69 yards, 7 plays, 2.5 minutes of elapsed time, and the Bengals come right back.
And Curtis has now caught 25 passes, 7 of them for touchdowns.
Well, it's a 24-10 game, 3:02 to go in the half. We got a lot of football ahead, and most importantly for Cincinnati, they have got 7 points on the board to go with an earlier field goal by Chris Barr, and they remain 2 touchdowns back. This has not been a pleasant place for Cincinnati to play football. They have never won a football game at Three River Stadium. They are 0-9. And like their counterparts from Ohio, the Cleveland Browns, they have never won in this stadium. So those are 2 of Pittsburgh's divisional foes, Bob, who have never been able to win here.
And Houston has only won once here. Is that not correct since 1970?
I'd have to check that. Maybe twice, but certainly no more than that. Brian Gumbel, Mike Adamle standing by to fill you in on all the scores and highlights at halftime.
Pittsburgh is 65-13 in this stadium since it opened in 1970. That's a very, very good record.
Last we heard down the road was that Houston and Cleveland was tied at 7. Or were tied at 7. I got to check my grammar every once in a while.
And it's not snowing. They're expecting snow showers there, but it is very cold. Imagine Earl Campbell has got his pantyhose on and wreaking havoc against that 3-4 defense in Cleveland.
Anthony Anderson, number 33, awaiting this kick by Chris Barr. Anderson at the 6-yard line. To the 20, trying to reverse his field in good coverage. A flag is down as Anderson reached the 23-yard line. And if you haven't seen the Steelers for a couple of weeks, this is not their regular kick return man, Larry Anderson, who has been benched. Penalty is against Pittsburgh. Anderson has fumbled 3 kickoffs this year and has been replaced by that young man, Anthony Anderson, a free agent out of Temple.
And those 3 fumbles by Anderson have resulted in 17 points for the other team.
Well, the penalty is against Tom Dornbrook, a North Hills native out of the city of Pittsburgh who played his college ball at the University of Kentucky and does not want to be remembered for that particular penalty call, I'm sure. So the Steelers will have to begin from their own 11-yard line. They lead it 24-10. Lyer runs right into Jim LeClaire. 8-year veteran out of North Dakota, and I think we got Mr. LeClaire all the way on this one.
And Mr. LeClaire is the leading tackler for the Cincinnati Bengals, taking a lot of heat. One of the toughest guys you'll find in professional football, taking on a blocker. You see the trap coming from Larry Brown, but he still gets back both of them. John Cole, 55, and Larry Brown, 79. Trying to make a LeClaire sandwich out of him, but he does still make the tackle.
Let me say this about Cove. I know all 22 players on the field are playing with some nagging hurts, but Cove has had to play almost the entire year, Bob, with a pinched nerve in his neck. He didn't start last week. Ted Peterson did, but Peterson sprained his back lifting weights this week. And who do you think's right back in there again? 55. Harris, nothing doing. An excellent tackle again, I believe, by Jim Leclerc, who met him head on.
I believe that's Wilson Whitley. Wilson Whitley,
75 it is. I'm sorry, not 55. We have reached the 2-minute warning here at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh as you look at Leclerc again.
I think it's Wilson Whitley that made the tackle, but one time you get him, one time you don't. John Kolb on it.
Well, if he has an announcer like me with him every week, he'll be in great shape, won't he? We'll return to Three Rivers in just a moment.
Polaroid's One Step is so simple, you just press one button and a motor hands you the picture.
It's a good idea for a camera.
This is a toothbrush. Polaroid's One Step is light as a feather. It's only 14 ounces.
Won't it blow away?
Not if it's around your neck. With Polaroid's One Step, there's a battery in every film pack, so your camera always works.
Won't work without film.
Sure can't fool you. With Polaroid's One Step, you just point it and press the button.
Why not button it and press the point?
I try. Heaven knows I try.
Hi, champ. You sure did it tonight.
Yeah, and we gonna celebrate. Beer? He's the champ, you chump. We want something special. Bull. Bull? The Schlitz Malt Liquor Bull. It's a special premium brew that's in a class by itself.
This Schlitz Malt Liquor's a bold brew. Let's go a few rounds with the bull.
If you want to change your picture, a big bouquet. Don't be fear, big bull. The Schlitz Malt Liquor Bull.
I don't see anybody, Bob, who looks as uncomfortable as I feel.
There's a couple of good ones. Now, that young man is prepared.
29 degrees here in Pittsburgh. The Steelers with a third down situation, 2 minutes to play in the half, and they lead it 24-10.
I don't think Pittsburgh wants a turnover here.
Third down and 7. Let's see what Bradshaw does. What would you do if you were Bradshaw?
Screen pass to Rocky Flyer or to Franco Harris.
See if you had your head in the huddle there. Bradshaw throws it downfield. He's got a man. Smith at the 40-yard line. And the Steelers get out of trouble on the strength of a Bradshaw pass to Jim Smith.
Well, maybe that's what Cincinnati was thinking. That's why it worked so well.
So the Steelers take a timeout here as they reach the 40-yard line with plenty of time left in the half and try to get some more points on the board before halftime. As Bradshaw comes over to the sidelines again to have some words with his mentor, Charles Knoll. He is looking for his 99th regular season victory today as Chuck Knoll. And when he reaches 100, which should come either next week in Houston or the following week here in Pittsburgh against Buffalo, he will become just the 14th coach in the history of the National Football League to win 100 or more games. And he did it by starting with a 1-13 season back in 1968. The man has been absolutely remarkable since 1972. He has the best record of any coach in the NFL since the Steelers started to make the playoffs in 72, and that is something.
And they've made the playoffs 7 straight years, 8 ties them with Dallas, and it all started with the draft in 1968. John Kolb, Joe Green, and L.C. Greenwood, that was a part of Knoll's first draft. And that's when it all started. Terry Bradshaw came along, Franco Harris came along, and ever since then, the commissioner of the NFL is trying to figure out how to keep Pittsburgh out of the Super Bowl, which is a very difficult task.
And they don't take too kindly to those remarks from Pete Rozelle, might I add, that it would be nice to see somebody else get there. I think in spite of him, they're going to get back again, or try to anyway.
Mr. Rozelle is not trying to keep them out of the Super Bowl. He just likes to see somebody else play.
There you go. Flyer to the 45-yard line on first down. Ross Browner, 79, is the man who made the stop, so the Steelers now not only working against Cincinnati, working against the clock.
This is where Cincinnati is in trouble. Their defensive backfield has really been victimized this season so far.
Here's the screen out the flat to Flyer, and he gets a couple of yards as he crawls to the 47-yard line. So it's third down in short yardage, and the Steelers in their hurry-up 2-minute offense. Bo Harris made the stop as we continue to count from 1:15 down.
1969 was that draft with Joe Green, L.C. Greenwood. Excuse me. He had one more year than they deserve.
First down in the flat to Stallworth. He gets out of bounds to stop the clock in front of Ray Griffin. And if you haven't seen Cincinnati before, yes, Ray Griffin is the brother of Archie Griffin. Pressed into duty here because of a hamstring injury to Ken Riley, who is the leading active interceptor in the National Football League, and I know the Bengals miss him, Bob.
And Mel Blount is second. Blount is only 2 interceptions behind Ken Riley.
Coming up at halftime again, Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamle. They're putting the highlights and the scores of other games together at this very moment. and they'll present them to you at the halftime of our football game, which is 24-10. A minute 4 to play in the half, and the Steelers in Cincinnati territory looking for more. They lead it by 14. Bradshaw throws it down here. Blyer was double teamed. The flag is down. And LeClaire hitting his helmet may have been caught on an interference call.
Close. The official was in front of Rocky Blyer. Interference. Cincinnati, number 55. Well, I don't know about that.
I don't know about it either. I don't see his hands on Blyer yet.
But as I say, the official was to the right of that picture, and therefore he could not really see if there was contact, but felt that there was, therefore he called the interference.
So the clock is stopped with 59 seconds to play in the half.
Bradshaw, 9 of 14 for 200 yards. Last week he had over 300 too.
Isn't that something? He's been over 300 only 3 times in his life, all starting with Super Bowl 13. Over the middle, Big Benny Cunningham to the 27-yard line. His first catch of the day. Bradshaw has had a wealth of receivers and been able to spread it around and keep everybody happy. And he's done it again today. 40 seconds to go in the half. First down at the 27-yard line. Bradshaw looking for more, dumps it out here to Harris. Flag is down, and Franco is down at the 22-yard line. And the clock is stopped with 29 seconds to play, but 2 penalty markers are down.
I think one of Pittsburgh's offensive linemen, yes, got downfield a little too far. Illegal receiver downfield. But it stops the clock. They need about 10 more yards to be in Matt Barr's distance for a field goal.
If you joined us late by any chance, Bradshaw has thrown touchdown passes of 50.
Number 52, downfield, 10 yards.
Center Mike Webster, the All-Pro. Thrown a touchdown pass to Lynn Swann and the wide receiver screen to 58 yards. Franco Harris has scored from a yard out. Rocky Blyer has scored from a yard out. Barr has a field goal for Pittsburgh. Chris Barr has one for Cincinnati. Kenny Anderson, a 29-yard touchdown pass to Isaac Curtis. 24-10 Steelers. Scott Perry replaces Jim Browner. It is first down at 20. Bradshaw, the pressure's on. Burley's got him, and down he goes.
First sack.
And the 28th on the year for the Cincinnati Bengals. Browner, 79, is the man who wrapped him up.
May have seen one of the problems with the defensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals there. Looked like they're carrying a little extra weight, maybe.
And the Steelers are letting the clock go back at their 47-yard line. Only 11 seconds to play in the half. Bradshaw now scrambles, throws against the grain and too high, and it's picked off. Nick Giron, still, now he makes a lateral, and down he goes. Good tackle there by number 66, Ted Peterson of the Steelers. And on that play, the first half comes to an end. Ooh, it's been an interesting one, hasn't it? That's the end of the first half. The score, Pittsburgh 24, Cincinnati 10.
58 yards and also 32 yards for touchdown.
So here we go with Chris Barr kicking to Anthony Anderson and the Steelers. 24-10 Pittsburgh. And let's see whether Cincinnati can come back in the second half. Anderson chases it, and it goes into the end zone. And he fields the ball and finally downs it there. He looked like he was satisfied to let the ball roll dead in the end zone. He'd been in deep trouble.
Don't make that mistake.
So Pittsburgh will take the touchback and go to work at its 20-yard line. And Swann, who did not play in a couple of series very late in the second quarter, back in there again. And the young man from Southern California having a Lynn Swann afternoon. 3 catches, 137 yards, and 1 touchdown. And he appears to be back in mid-season form. Of course, he missed all of training camp because of some legal action out on the West Coast. And is running a little bit behind most everybody else. Franco Harris for 2 yards. Falls forward after the tackle by Bo Harris.
I would imagine the Steelers coming out in the second half, Sam, want to reestablish the fact that they're in control of the football game. They don't want to do anything foolish. They want to make sure Bradshaw has plenty of time to throw it. Play rather conservatively, leading 24-10. And when you got a guy like Franco Harris in the backfield, you can give it to him 100 times, and he's going to be all right.
Same people who started the game for the Steelers are in there now. Bradshaw with Blyer 20 and Harris 32. The receivers, Swan and Stallworth, are the same. The whistle is being blown from the stands, not from the playing field, as Blyer reaches the 25-yard line. Gary Burley, 67, and Bo Harris were there. And Burley, who they list at 6'3", 269, looks a little paunchy, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He played for the University of Pittsburgh here in their national championship team, and he played at about 250. You have to be in shape to play professional football, and any extra weight that Gary Burley carries really hurts him because his speed and quickness are his two biggest assets.
Speaking of Burley and Pittsburgh, there are some Penn Staters on the field today not feeling too good about Pitt's great victory over the Nittany Lions yesterday, namely the Barr brothers and Jack Ham. He steps up in the pocket, throws it down to Swan, and great coverage by Marvin Cobb, number 24, who was with Swan stride for stride, a couple of Southern California Trojans.
I wonder what they'll... You imagine they'll be watching the Rose Bowl? I imagine so.
Here on NBC.
Blitz by Cincinnati. Good coverage, as you said, by Marvin Cobb. Here you see it from the defensive backfield. Inside, outside. Scott Perry, 32, and Marvin Cobb covering Lynn Swan. And you see Marvin Cobb just get his hand up in time to knock it away. Good defense.
Greg Colquitt is punting to Mike Levenseller. Much better punt this time. Into the wind, Levenseller at the 40-yard line. 45 running laterally is necktied out of bounds by Dirt Winston, 53, who may be the hardest hitter on the field. 35 yards on the punt, just 3 on the return. Winston had a taste of starting earlier this year when Robin Cole went down with an injury. Dirt started about 6 games for the Steelers, but he was exploited very well by Brian Sipe in the 2 Cleveland games, particularly last week, I guess, and finds himself back in the sidelines again, but he plays the special teams very well.
I have a feeling that Mr. Sipe from Cleveland is going to exploit a lot of people before he's out of football.
Boy, he's having a marvelous year. And again, we'll keep you up to date. You saw what happened during NFL 79. It's 7-7 at the half. Here's Anderson on first down. He's got a man. Isaac Curtis out of bounds at the Pittsburgh 43-yard line. And Curtis and Anderson are back in business again.
I like it. Throwing on first down. Cincinnati's been accused for the last few weeks of being very conservative in their offensive game plan, running it into the line of scrimmage for a couple of downs, and then throwing on third down. That's one way to stay away from the Pittsburgh blitz. On third down and possession passing situations, that's when Pittsburgh normally blitzes.
So from the 43-yard line of Pittsburgh, Cincinnati in possession, trailing by 14. A quick score here, and we got a football game. Pete Johnson. Ooh, just knocking people back. They can't get a grab on him. And Donnie Shell and Ron Johnson finally bring him down, but Johnson knocks Shell 5 yards downfield. Ooh, that's a shocker. Kansas City. Steve Fuller has thrown for 1 touchdown. Ted McKnight and Earl Gant have run for touchdowns. And the Kansas City Chiefs, who Bob and I had last weekend in San Diego, they didn't look too good last Sunday, but they're doing it to Seattle.
And Seattle is having an up-and-down season, and I think they've won 6 games in a row. If Kansas City beats them today, it'll be their first loss in 6 games.
It'll also be lights out on any playoff hopes for the Seattle Seahawks.
Hey, let's give credit here for the Cincinnati Bengals coming out the second half, 3-10 on the season, playing a 10-3 football team. They're not giving up. People really have very little left to cheer about in the 1979 season, but they're not going to be embarrassed.
Actually, Bob, their last 2 appearances against the Steelers have been very impressive. Not only did they beat the Steelers at Riverfront Stadium, but they lost 7-6 last year right here at Three Rivers. They were in it to the end. Johnson trying to get the first down, stopped by Banaszak, 76.
I think he got it.
He didn't need much. Gary Dunn, 67. Robin Cole, 56. Get off the bottom. And they spot it. First down range for the Cincinnati Bengals at the 32 of Pittsburgh. They are moving again.
Let's see if they come up with a first down pass again. Seemed to work the last time.
Under 12 minutes to go, third quarter. Anderson's had himself not a bad day. Has yet to be intercepted in this game. It's Curtis in motion. They come with the blitz. He's got a man wide open. It's Curtis, touchdown. He also had Don Bass all alone.
somewhere. I don't see Pittsburgh ever doing that. Don Bass was absolutely uncovered running down the middle of the field. That's Isaac Curtis's 25th reception on the season, his 8th touchdown, and the Bengals are back in the ball game. And the people in the stands here are absolutely silent. A blitz by Pittsburgh. Ken Anderson just puts it full trajectory. Isaac Curtis on Johnson, mismatch, 6 points.
And
over the shoulder.
He had Don Bass all alone in the center of the field. If he wanted to go to him, it made no difference. So Anderson has now thrown 2 touchdown passes to Isaac Curtis, and Chris Barr can get him back to within 7. And he does. We got a football game, ladies and gentlemen. It's 24-17. That 57-yard drive took but 6 plays and 3 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock. And Trumpy's Bengals are back in it again. We'll return with Chris Barr's kickoff here in Pittsburgh in just a moment.
Dollar for dollar, the Chrysler LeBaron is a lot more car than a Cutlass.
If you go out and buy a Cutlass without looking at a LeBaron, you're making a mistake.
Those guys are Chrysler engineers. They helped design the efficient new Chrysler LeBaron. From what they're saying, from the way it looks, the equipment, you'd think it costs a lot more than a Cutlass Supreme. But it doesn't. It costs less. Still thinking about buying a Cutlass?
I'm not asking you to buy any car on faith. I'm asking you to compare.
Buy a LeBaron now at participating dealers. Get a $300 check direct from Chrysler.
You know, words are confusing. In bowling, a strike is good. In baseball, it's terrible.
That's right,
Take the word natural as in natural light beer. It means just one thing. This brew is beer with nothing artificial. It has only natural ingredients with lots of barley malt for a fuller taste and a less filling beer.
You better believe it.
Tastes natural light. The difference is what we put in and don't put in.
Sure, natural light tastes great, and you can open the top without disremembering the can.
On Lobo, the senator's up for re-election until he's dead.
Dad?
He's a stiff competitor and still running. It's the biggest cover-up since Watergate, Tuesday.
Sam Novert, Bob Trumpy back in Pittsburgh. It may not be what the Steeler fans want, but we got a football game.
You're right. I imagine with the way the Cincinnati Bengals beat them last time in Cincinnati, now they're on the edge of their seat. They don't want that to happen again, and they have not turned the football over. Cincinnati's just played good football today.
Here's Chris Barr's kick to Anthony Anderson at the 5-yard line. 15. Oh, and down he goes to the 18-yard line. Good special teams coverage by Cincinnati. Downfield was Tom Rude, number 51. And so the Steelers better get their act together here. They are tied for first place in the AFC Central Division with the Houston Oilers, who at the moment are tied in Cleveland 7-7. Playoff spots are a long way from being clinched by everybody. Of course, Cincinnati has nowhere to go except to look forward to 1980.
Just pride.
They can be the spoilers.
You're right. That's all they can be.
Bradshaw from his 17-yard line. It's 24-17 Pittsburgh. And the Steelers have given up a lot of points the last few weeks. Flyer, big hole, 20, 25, 30 and a first down. Brought down by Scott Perry. Great blocking in that forward line by the Steelers.
Yeah, they show the sign Rocky, but let's give credit to the big guys up front. Webster, Morrison, Davis, those gentlemen, watch the hole. You see Sam Davis pulling. It's a trap. Good block. And Rocky Blair is on his own. 79, Larry Brown with a good block on Jim LeClaire, and that's what they go back to, their strength.
Blair made a move on LeClaire. It may have been Blair's first move since 1973. Bradshaw throws it out here to Cunningham. They got him at the 37, and down he goes. Jim LeClaire, who's been all over the field today. There's a middle linebacker who never quits. He is just an outstanding defensive football player. Led this team in tackles last year and leads them again this season.
And a lot of people have kind of poked the finger at Jim LeClaire, but I repeat once again, the defensive linemen have got to slow him down a little bit. He's getting a lot of business in 1979 playing middle linebacker for the Bengals.
Anybody who raises Dobermans as a hobby has got to be a mean son of a gun, doesn't he?
He's at least safe on the streets at night.
Yes, he is. Second down and 3. That little pass to Cunningham, then at 7 yards. Second back is Franco. First down to the 41-yard line. Eddie Edwards, 73. And Wilson Whitley, 75, combined to make the stop, but that'll be another Steeler first down. They need to sustain something here, Bob. Work on the clock and work on the Bengals defense.
Well, I repeat, when you got a guy in your backfield like Franco Harris, feel pretty comfortable about giving him the football. Look at the forward lean of Franco Harris. Not only does he have excellent, good ability to move, to good agility, he also has power.
From the 41-yard line of Pittsburgh, Steelers leading it by 7. They led earlier by 21 points. Flyer reaches the 43, and Burley sees that he goes no further than that. Washington has come back with 2 quick strikes. Theismann, a touchdown to Danny Bugs, make it 1 strike. They were down 21-7. It is now 21-14 Green Bay.
And that's Lynn Dickey's first start in 2 years since his broken leg for the Green Bay Packers.
He's thrown for a couple of touchdowns today. Second down, 8, Pittsburgh at the 43. They split Stallworth wide left. Bradshaw appears to be limping just a bit as the team comes out of the huddle. Swan is to the right. Stallworth has yet to catch a pass today. He's the leading receiver in the American Football Conference. Over the middle, Cunningham close to a first down at the 49 of Cincinnati. It depends on where they spot the ball.
Sam, you mentioned that Terry Bradshaw may be limping. He might have got his foot stepped on or something. He's a tough kid. He appears to be setting up all right. Cunningham over the middle in front of the linebackers, and he can zip it when he wants to.
Bradshaw today, by the way, surpassed Ed Brown's single-season record for passing yardage. He needed but 44 yards. I think he got that on the screen pass to Swan, didn't he?
Yeah, that was 58 yards long.
Mike Kruzik starting to throw on the sidelines for the Steelers, so maybe there is something to that limp by Bradshaw.
I think Kruzik is just trying to stay warm, Sam. And I don't blame him.
Thank you, Lewis. The coffee has arrived. They're bringing the sticks in to check this one out, and it verifies that the Steelers are a half a yard shy of a first down. So on third down and less than a yard, the Steelers take out all their wide receivers. They bring in Grossman, Steve Corson, Ted Peterson. They got them all in there, along with their normal front alignment of Cove, Davis, Webster, Mullins, and Brown. Third down. Franco, first down, trying to bust the cage. Brought down as he reaches the 43-yard line by Ray Griffin, who may have made the saving tackle. The Steelers have been able to bust those third and short for touchdowns, 70-yard runs against Cleveland by Blyer and Harris.
Watch Blyer on this one. Everybody counts him out every season. This is why he stays on his football team. Looking for somebody to block. Well, he kind of bumps into people. But Franco Harris getting closer to that 65-yard mark for 1,000 yards for the 7th time.
24-17 Steelers. Under 7.5 minutes to go, third quarter. Play action, Bradshaw rolling out, looking downfield. He's got Swan, throws it down, and got it. Touchdown, Steelers. Swan coming back for the ball. Made a great move on Scott Perry, and the Steelers had scored.
All he did was adjust to the football. Ball was slightly underthrown by Terry Bradshaw. Swan in control of himself, turned Scott Perry around more than once. And Scott Perry was set down in the first half because Lynn Swan caught a touchdown on him again. I wonder if he'll find the bench again this year. Look at this. Not even close. That seems a shame to put Scott Perry, a free safety, single coverage on Lynn Swan. What had happened? Look at that total. That's the most yards that Lynn Swan's ever gained receiving.
83 yards in 7 plays, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Steelers, Matt Barr trying to make it 31-17. And he does. So the Steelers have answered Kenny Anderson's touchdown pass to Isaac Curtis with one of their own. Bradshaw to Swan, 42 yards. Second time they've teamed up today. And the Steelers back on top by 14 points as you look at it once again. We'll return to Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh with a kickoff in just a moment.
The financial climate can change at a moment's notice. So you look for protection. Low-risk investments with a solid return. And we know where the best ones are. The experience we have in sheltering your assets is unmatched by any other investment firm. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
Ladies and gentlemen, we challenged hotshot Jimmy Powell to play the Mattel Electronics basketball game. Jimmy doesn't know inside is a tiny thinking computer that plays like a whole team of pros.
All right. All right.
Jimmy's got the ball. The computer defends the bucket. He fakes left, dribbles right, shoots, blocked. Now, clock's running. He breaks inside. Paul scores. Mattel Electronics Pocket Basketball with the built-in computer.
Who's in there?
NBC Sports World salutes the champions of '79. It's been a memorable year, and we'll review the many magic moments with an exciting look at the year's major events on Sports Year '79. A salute to the champions, Saturday, December 22nd.
Lynn Swan on the left and Bradshaw on the right. We mentioned a moment ago that Terry was limping coming out of the huddle, and they worked on it after that. Why is Mr. Perry in single coverage on Swan, Bob?
You got me. All I can tell you is a couple of weeks ago, the defensive backs of the Cincinnati Bengals were somewhat critical of the coaches calling single coverage when they had so many new guys back there. I don't understand why myself.
At the 25-yard line, one of the up men made the catch. It was Howie Koenig who had a touchdown with a fumble recovery in the first Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game of the year, and he brings it back to shy of the 30. NBC Sports, well, we got the best of bowl games. Beginning Christmas Day, it's the Fiesta Bowl, Tempe, Arizona. The Pitt Panthers against Arizona. And New Year's Day, the Buckeyes of Ohio State take on Charles White and the USC Trojans. That's the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. Then the undefeated Florida State Seminoles. They love to throw the ball against Billy Sims in Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. All right here on NBC. Pete Johnson. Robin Cole beats him head on, but he bounces off that tackle, and then he got some help.
That's an understatement. The rest of them got there.
Yes. That's a load. 259, stopping a running back on a sweep when he's got 10 or 11 strides of movement going for him.
That was an excellent tackle by Cole.
He lost of 2, in fact, on the play, and you look again, Jack Lambert fighting off the block in the center there of Dave Lapham, the center. And the Steeler crowd has come alive here. They want the defense to do the job. Anderson on 2nd and 12. Over the middle and almost intercepted by Cole. Charles Alexander, the intended receiver, but Cole and Lambert had him double-teamed.
Cincinnati can't lose their cool now. They got to stay with their offensive game plan as best they possibly can. And it always seems to be the case that once that momentum shifts, once something positive happens for Pittsburgh, everybody gets excited. Their defense plays very, very well.
You know, you've got to go back a few years to find 3 games in a row where the Steelers have given up 82 points, Bob. Alexander is out. Steve Kreider becomes the 3rd receiver, and the Steelers have the nickel defense. 3rd down and 12. Anderson from his 20 on the scramble, dumps it off. A one-handed catch by Pete Johnson.
Not bad.
Good catch, but it didn't do him any good as he did not even get back to the line of scrimmage. And on 4th down, Pat McInally will have to kick it away. But it's interesting that the Steeler defense has given up. 35 in San Diego, 30 against Cleveland, 17 here today against Cincinnati with a quarter and a half to play. T-Bell standing back at his 35-yard line, awaiting his punt from Pat McInally. And he booms it, driving Bell back to the 25 on the run. At the 30 and out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Chasing him out was Howie Koenig, number 59. So the Steelers have it back again. And let's see, Bradshaw is out there, so the leg problem is nothing serious. We'll see how he does in a moment.
Some light beers don't list all their ingredients, but Natural Light lists what's in here. This less filling beer has a fuller taste. It's all natural with lots of barley malt.
You can call it barley malt, and you can call it grain, or you can call it choicest hops. That's why Natural Light's its name.
Sure, if they added anything artificial, they wouldn't call it natural.
Taste Natural Light. The difference is what we put in and don't put in.
Here you are, Mr. Johnson.
No. Now she can call me Johnson.
The New Yorker has the best of everything that we know how to put together.
It figures Chrysler engineers would be sold on the car they helped to design, but so are the people who own New Yorkers. Most put it in a class with Cadillac or Lincoln, but I've got news for you. It's sticker price more like an Olds 98 or Buick Electra.
If you buy any car without considering Chrysler, that'll be too bad for both of us.
Buy a New Yorker now at participating dealers. Get a $300 check direct from Chrysler.
Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Your Steelers station, Channel 11, WIIC-TV, Pittsburgh.
McAnally's last punt, 46 yards, 7 on the return. Sam Dover and Bob Crumpy in Pittsburgh with that score. The Steelers up by 14. Bradshaw going to work from his own 32-yard line.
With a taped ankle.
Throws it downfield. Swan is all alone at the 45. And dragged down by Scott Perry. But Mr. Perry has his hands full today. College basketball is back and off to a flying start. Ray Meyer's DePaul team plays the powerful UCLA Bruins, a rematch of their 79 NCAA Western Regional Final, coming your way Saturday, 3:30 Eastern Time, December 15th on NBC. And our football producer today, George Finkel, will be there for that basketball game. And I imagine our director, Teddy Nathanson, will be in New York.
Tell Ray Myers I said hello.
Harris for a couple of yards as he crosses the 45 to the 47-yard line. LeClaire and Whitley combined to make the start. You know, the mismatch, or rather the matchup that we talked about in that Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game earlier this year, Bob, Whitley against Webster has not been much of a factor today, or at least one that we can note.
Webster has won. You see the ability of Franco to look for the hole there and wait for the blocking to materialize and then get through it. He now needs 12 yards for 1,000. 12 yards for 1,000 in 7th season, which will tie him with Jim Brown, and he's doing it in 8 years. It took Jim Brown 9.
And 14 yards will get Franco to the 4th on the all-time list as Rocky Blyer gets the first down to the 39-yard line. And now they start to use Mr. Harris as a decoy. I think the Bengals realize that they want to get him the record here today, and they got to be keying on Franco, but Rocky ran with it.
Sure, absolutely. A little crossbuck, something about 40 years ago used to be very common in football. Blyer is one of those guys that no matter how many times you give it to him, he's going to give you 120%.
First down, Steelers at the Cincinnati 40-yard line. They lead by 14, trying to regain that 21-point lead. Here's Franco. Outside, 35. He's got it all! Franco Harris has just become the 4th leading rusher in the history of the National Football League. And he has gone over 1,000 yards for the 7th time in his magnificent career. Listen to this crowd.
And to think when he went to Penn State, he was a blocking back for Lydell Mitchell.
Exactly what he was. And the ironical thing is that during that draft, the Steeler coaching staff couldn't decide whether to take Franco or Robert Newhouse.
16 carries, 87 yards. Number 32.
So the drama has finally come to Three Rivers Stadium for Franco Harris, accepting the congratulations and in turn giving it to the people who have paved the way for his incredible record-setting performance. We'll return to Three Rivers with the Steelers leading by 14 and looking for more in just a moment.
Beautiful picture.
I didn't always fly my own plane home from the tour.
Arnold Palmer, back again in Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
I had to do a lot of driving on a lot of roads in my early years as a pro, so I didn't need car troubles. Well, I just remembered what I had learned from my dad about Pennzoil. And you know, since then, Pennzoil and I have been down a lot of roads together.
Pennzoil, America's...
Repeat again, has gone over 1,000 yards for the 7th time. He and Jim Brown are the only people who ever do that. He is the 4th leading rusher all time, passing Joe the Jet Perry, and ahead of him live, Jim Brown, O.J. Simpson, Jim Taylor. First and goal to go at the Cincinnati 5. Franco again. Going to have to give back a yard or two on that one, Bob.
Sam, I think if I were a young man and I was going to start playing football, I'd ask for number 32 if I was a running back, because 3 of the 4 guys who have the top yardage in the NFL wore 32. O.J. Simpson, Jim Brown, And now Franco Harris, rather impressive. Jim Taylor was 31.
He was very close to it. He asked for 32, but it wasn't available when he got to Green Bay. Get the scores together, Robert, if you will, and we'll check it right after this play. 6-yard line. Swan and Stallworth are out. Steelers now with their blocking formation. Grossman and Peterson. Benny Cunningham. Bradshaw rolling right. Looking in the end zone. Everybody's covered. Throws it there, and it's dropped. Grossman had a hand on it, but good coverage by Scott Perry. So the Steelers from a run formation throw the football. Bobby, run the scores.
There you are in Cleveland in the Snow Bowl. 7-7 third quarter. Scores remain the same since halftime. Chicago over Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is still trying to win the NFC Central. The Jets over Baltimore 20-3 in the third. Philadelphia. They're going to win the NFC East. 27, shutting out Detroit.
One goal to go at the Cincinnati 6. Bradshaw with his receivers in there. Throws it. And a little high for Swan. The coverage from Cobb and Perry. And it's 4th down, and Matt Barr is trying to get the Steelers 3 points here. Chuck Noll is not happy about that particular play. They had a 1st and goal at the 5.
Watch this play from the end zone. The defense really has an advantage here when they're this close to the goal line because they don't have that much yardage to cover. Therefore, it's tough to get in, but Lynn Swan was open. Terry Bradshaw just threw it too hard.
So Colquitt will spot the ball on the 13-yard line. This is a 23-yard field goal attempt by Matt Barr. Placement, the kick is up, and it is perfect. That young man has really come on strong. He has made good now on 9 of his last 10 field goal attempts. 68-yard drive and 9 plays. They get 3 points out of it. And I remind you that tonight on NBC, the world favorite movie and winner of 5 Academy Awards, Julie Andrews, Christopher Plummer, in The Sound of Music, followed by an exclusive look at legal clinics and a man who laughed himself to health on Primetime Sunday with Tom Snyder. Both of those gangbuster shows coming your way starting at 7 Eastern Time tonight here on NBC.
Sam, some stats for you. Bradshaw, 14 of 21, 280 yards, and Lynn Swan has caught 5 passes for 191 yards.
However, they did not get a touchdown in a touchdown situation.
Well, they got excited about Franco gaining 1,000 yards.
I think Coach Noll might label that a distraction.
A distraction?
A distraction from the business at hand. Of course, Franco deserved the plaudits, and Chuck Noll be the first to give it to him. But it did take away from the drive, and the Steelers having a great chance to get 7 out of it, end up with 3, and they lead it here 34-17 with exactly 2:10 to go in the third quarter. Harris on the sidelines. His Barr kicks it deep. Fielded there by Deacon Turner. 25, 30. And he pushes a couple of people across the 30-yard line. Zach Valentine, the rookie out of East Carolina, and Larry Anderson combined to make the stop as you see Franco pace the sidelines, knowing that he is now the 4th leading rusher of all time, and there are 3 folks ahead of him. I don't know if he'll play long enough to ever catch Jim Brown.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. He does so many things good, and of course, the offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers should each get a ball for the 1,000-yard seasons that Franco Harris has had. Still tied in the 4th in Cleveland.
They have gone to the 4th quarter. Boy, that's a big football game, and what an amazing defensive struggle. Who would have thought? With Sykes passing and Campbell's running. Juggled, Alexander has it. 40, carries a man to the 45-yard line. Donnie Shell and Mel Blunt put him down, but a first down is Charles Alexander. Juggled but caught the football.
Is it possible that Cleveland could have their 2nd straight overtime game? One here that went all but 9 seconds of the overtime period.
Was it last year or 2 years ago? They called them the Cardiac Cardinals, a St. Louis ball club that seemed to go down to the final minute or so every game, and this year it's Cleveland.
I think Cleveland has had 6 overtime games in the last 2 years.
First down at the 45, and Anderson trying to bring his team right back again. Here's the draw to Alexander. Gets 5, 6, maybe 7. Soon has moved them into Steeler territory again. Alexander coming your way in motion. Throws it out here, and it's almost intercepted.
They got Cincinnati for illegal motion towards the line of scrimmage. Charles Alexander. Rookie mistake.
Good eyes, Bob. A legal procedure against Cincinnati. Alexander starting toward the line of scrimmage before the snap. And let's see whether the Steelers elect to take the play or the penalty. If they decline it, it'll be 3rd down and 4. If they take it, of course, 2nd down and 9.
Talking to Mr. Joe Green there.
Here's referee Jim Tunney with the announcement. Well, it isn't Alexander at all. It was number 85, Isaac Curtis. And again, I apologize for the league's microphone that doesn't seem to be working today.
And we also apologize for pointing the finger at Charles Alexander. Shame on us.
Alexander comes out. Steve Kreider, 86, 3 wide receivers. Double wing formation with 1 setback. Quarterback keeper by Anderson. First down at the 35. The old quarterback draws. He took 1 step back and then tucked it in behind his center, Dave Lapham, and gained big yardage to the Steeler 34-yard line.
Good call. What they did was that with the 3 wide receivers, you see Donnie Shell here with 3 wide receivers. Lambert has coverage on one of those backs out of the backfield. Shell trying to make the tackle. Mr. Anderson knows when to duck. Discretion the better part of valor. Look for a line.
Well, a total yard. And he can't get out of the grasp of 75 Joe Green. Banaszak had him originally. He got out of Banaszak's grasp, but Green was there to put him down.
Banaszak was left with his shoe. Do you get a quarter sack for that?
We'll give him a quarter.
Okay. Once again from behind Joe Green. Look at the muscle he uses. And you see Banaszak and Joe Green. Banaszak gets the shoe. Green gets the sack. Doesn't seem fair.
Is that 3 for them today, I
think? Yes, I believe you're right.
3rd sack gives them 4.
And here is also...
Cleveland now leads Houston 14-7 with the entire 4th quarter to play. 14-7 Browns. Down the turnpike here about 2 hours. Here's Anderson on 2nd and 12. The pressure's on. He gets away. 35, 30. And close to a first down as he reaches the 27-yard line. Anderson has scrambled very well with the football today, Bob.
One of the things that he's done throughout his entire career, he's a very good runner. He's been injured seriously running the ball, but he's still got the nerve to do it. You'll see a good block here by Glenn Bujnak, knocking Dunn off of Anderson, and he picks up almost enough for a first down. It'll be 3rd down and about 1.5, and the Bengals continue to drive.
And speaking, there it is, 21 all. The Redskins and Packers. 3rd first down for Johnson as he gets inside the 20. Just inside. Alexander in the backfield with Johnson. Anderson over the middle, and it's almost intercepted right in the hands of Lambert.
Whoops.
He disgustedly spikes the football. And if he had been able to hold on, it would have been his 7th of the year. He currently leads all linebackers in the AFC with 6 interceptions.
Well, I'm not mistaken. Spiking the football like that is supposed to be a penalty.
I don't think you're mistaken. But no flag is down, so he got away with it.
Yeah, I noticed that. Anyway, Jack Lambert looks to George Perlis, the defensive genius of the Pittsburgh Steelers, for the
2nd down and 10. 34-17. The Steelers defense trying to buckle up here. Some pressure on Anderson. They got him, he got away, and they got him again. Banaszak back at the 25-yard line. Excellent pressure from the front 4. The 5th sack of the day for the Steelers, and it couldn't have come at a more opportunity.
Okay.
3rd down, big play here. Anderson throws it out to Johnson. 20, 15, down at the 12. He'll be 2 years. No Steeler assistant under Chuck Noll has ever gone on to a head job despite Noll's great success.
Watch Pete Johnson here run against good heavyweight running up through the middle, and the Bengals are going for it. 4th down.
The money's on Johnson. Anderson's going to throw it. Looks in the end zone, and nobody's there.
Interference. They got the first down. It's going to be interference on Ron Johnson, and I think it's designed that way.
Isaac Curtis and Johnson collided at about the 5-yard line, and there you see referee Jim Tunney's signal. It'll be an automatic first down.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if that's exactly the way the play is designed. Throw it whether he's open or not. Hope for contact within the first 5 yards. I think Chuck is complaining, too, that that was probably a design play, and he was within the 5-yard limit.
He was over 5 yards.
Unfortunately, Chuck Noll's mic works better than Mr. Tunney's mic.
Maybe it's coming off Mr. Tunney's mic, and you have to speak from 10 yards away.
Yeah.
could have heard, perhaps, Noel hollering to referee Tunney. He wasn't 5 yards from the line of scrimmage.
But when the ball is thrown, there can be no contact between defensive man and offensive receiver.
First down and goal to go at the 7-yard line of Pittsburgh. Here's Johnson to the 3. Johnson to about the 1.5. And then shoved back by Cole and Dunn and everybody else.
The Steeler defense is not in.
Ron Johnson covers in the end zone. The Steelers thwart the drive.
How about that? How?
The Steelers hang in there and lead it 34-17.
68 yards, 6 minutes and 30 seconds, and that's what it ends up as. Ron Johnson on the fumble recovery. Pittsburgh dodges a bullet. Here we go again.
And for whatever it's worth, Johnson would not have gotten into the end zone on that carry, but Cincinnati still had a 4th down left.
Yes, they did, and they would have gone, too, I'm assured of that.
Give credit to Blunt and Lambert, who both helped to stand Johnson up at the 1-yard line, and one of them forced the fumble. Franco Harris for 3 yards. Mike Gumbel and Mike Adamman. 2nd down, 7. Bradshaw looking for more. Scrambles. Down he goes. Oh, he got away from it. Now he throws it to a man all alone. Flyer. First down at the 45. Bradshaw ducked under a double team back at the 10-yard line and got away.
Good presence by Bradshaw. Always been one of the strongest quarterbacks in the NFL. I'm not sure what that means.
Keep the clock running, maybe, huh?
Yeah, but Chuck Noll doesn't have control of that. You'll see the good pressure by Cincinnati, but he keeps a good presence and knows where everybody is. Rocky Blyer has kind of forgot 75. Wilson Whitley forgets him, and then he throws a kind of a fair catch pass up there, and Blyer's waiting for it. Just the reception.
Marvin Cobb is a bit here. Sure, just as I say it, Bradshaw almost threw an interception. Burley got a hand on it. As he deflected that away from the intended receiver out in the flat, they had set up the screen. Here's the score, first quarter. Ray Wersching, a 23-yard field goal. San Francisco leads the St. Louis Cardinals 3-0.
Sam Terry Bradshaw just gone over 300 yards in passing for the 3rd time this season. Last week was the 2nd time against Cleveland.
And, of course, he threw for over 300 in Super Bowl 13 against Dallas, so technically in 1979 he's done it 4 times. 2nd down and 10 at the 45 of Pittsburgh. Whoops. That'll be offside Pittsburgh. Rocky Blyer, who does not make mistakes, they say. Jim LeClaire is the man who made the stop on the ball carrier, Franco Harris. They're hanging on for dear life.
All they can hope for is that Miami to lose and New England to win.
3rd down and 8. Steelers with 3 wide receivers, Stallworth, Smith, and Swan. Whoops. Flags are down.
Play.
May have a free play to Stallworth, his first catch of the day. He fumbles the ball, but after the whistle, and if the play goes, it'll be a Steeler first down. And Stallworth has his first catch of the day.
That makes 62 for John Stallworth in receptions.
67.
Burley offsides, declined by Pittsburgh. They'll take the play in the first down of the Cincinnati 39. Greg Landry has thrown a touchdown pass. And Glenn Doughty, 15 yards. The Jets still lead it by 10. 27-17, New York over Baltimore. First down, Pittsburgh at the Cincinnati 39. They are on the move again. Bradshaw throws a quick pass. Almost brought down by Swan with one hand. Scott Perry had the coverage on Lynn, who's had his greatest day ever as far as total yardage is concerned, receiving the football 198 yards.
Not bad.
So the clock stops with 8:29 to go here in the 4th quarter. The Steelers can really put the icing on the cake. Yeah, that would make Cincinnati score 3 touchdowns. Another great day putting the ball up for Bradshaw. He seems to really thrive on inclement weather. I think one of his best games ever was the AFC Championship game against Houston last year right here. Meyer, inside handoff to about the 35-yard line. Steelers getting cute with a 17-point lead. I don't quite understand that.
Well, interesting that a team that is this far ahead, yeah, and also with the offensive power they have, go to a play like that. But what it does is it puts it in the films. Next week they play Houston. Houston has to drop a defense to stop that. They got to watch for Rocky Bleier from the wingback running the reverse. When you're ahead by that many points, you can do that.
I knew there was a reason, and I knew you knew why.
I'm not sure that did at all.
61 yards, 11 carries for Rocky Bleier today. It is 3rd down and 6 for Pittsburgh to keep the football in the Cincinnati 35. 3 wide receivers again. Bradshaw steps up in the pocket, throws it over the middle to Smith, and too high again. When Bradshaw has missed today, and he has not missed that often, he has missed high.
Great timing pass, though. Bradshaw threw that ball before Jim Smith had even turned around. He's mad at himself. If he had thrown it just the right height, he would have caught it. Watch Bradshaw's reaction. Darn.
So it's 4th down.
What's he saying? Golly darn it.
Golly darn
I
it.
threw it
He
too
wins.
high.
Holy cow. That's the extent of his language. Philadelphia has scored again, so has Detroit. But the Eagles have a laugher today, and I bet Dallas is sweating. They got to play the Giants later on this afternoon. 4th down and 6, and the Steelers will go for the 1st down, or maybe more.
Rubbing it in.
Bradshaw stepping up in the pocket, throws it too high, but a great catch. Smith got high off the ground to make a great leaping catch in front of who else but Scott Perry, who has burned all day.
Same exact formation, same exact play. Only this time, Terry Bradshaw just threw it about 2 feet lower, and Jim Smith could make the reception. Casey Bradshaw. Same exact play. Looks to the strong side, to the double receiver set, and right back to Jim Smith. He catches it this time. Now what is Bradshaw saying? Now that's where I wanted it the last time. Yeah, he's 50% for that play. Nothing wrong. But I don't understand going for it on 4th down, rubbing it in here.
Well, I don't think so. I think a punt would have been worthless, and it was out of Barr's field goal range. Even if they didn't get it, Cincinnati would have to go 65 yards. Bradshaw running from the 10, and down he goes very hard at the 9-yard line. And his offensive line mates are there to see that he's all right. Steve Corson hovering over him. Eddie Edwards made the stop.
I'm not sure exactly what happened here. Everyone was kind of standing around. You see Bradshaw look downfield. It's not a design play. It's not a design play. That's a broken play.
The big cheer went up when Sidney Thornton, number 38, came into the game, and Rocky Bleier came out. There you see Bleier next to Chuck Noll. And Sidney Thornton, who has been out the last 3 games with his sprained ankle, makes his first appearance. And this young man has had a great first half of the season for the Steelers. He wears number 38. Harris gets the call. No gain. Fine tackle by Wilson Whitley, 75, right on the 10-yard line. The Browns continue to lead Houston 14-7, 4th quarter. And if Cleveland can win that game, they will go to 9-5 on the year.
And it's funny, Sam, the people here in
Pittsburgh is that they're tied with Houston, and they want to beat Houston for the AFC Central Division title. 3rd down and 8. Oh, Bradshaw falls down like Anderson did earlier.
Right at the pitcher's mound.
Ooh, and he's hurt, too. He is hurt.
I'm sure we've got this one again, hopefully. This is right at the pitcher's mound, where John Candelaria makes his living. I think Bradshaw just fell on his elbow with some weight on it. I think you'll see him catch his foot in the insert for the pitcher's mound. Watch closely here. See if you can catch Bradshaw catching his foot in that pitcher's mound. No, he does it right from the start. It looks like Webster stepped on his foot a little bit, and then Webster backs over him. And then Ross Browner falls on him.
There's a field goal attempt by Matt Barr. 32-yarder. It's good. So Barr is 3 out of 3 today, 10 out of his last 11. And his daddy is sitting up somewhere here at Three Rivers enjoying it while Bradshaw suffers in pain on the sidelines. But the Steelers lead it by 20 points with 4:58 to play.
Devastating blow to the Pittsburgh Steelers if he has hurt his wrist badly. Hopefully it's not so.
He has had some marvelous recuperative powers over the years, so I'll tell you, I've seen him suffer some more serious injuries than that, Bob, and come back the next week. In fact, this year, they carried him off on a stretcher in the second quarter at St. Louis. As you look at Mike Kruzik warming up on the sidelines, the backup quarterback, they carried him off on a stretcher with a twisted ankle, and he came back to star in the third and fourth quarter and lead the Steelers to victory. Here's a kickoff. Deacon Turner at the 9-yard line. To the 15, to 20, and out of bounds he goes at the 22-yard line. Dennis Winston, number 53, is the man who knocked him out. I guess a lot of people out there are wondering why, leading 34-17, you don't take your starting quarterback out earlier, Bob.
Well, that's an obvious question. I'm not sure I understand why they left him in the football game. I mean, they're leading, at the time they were leading 34-17. If they're looking for total points within a division to settle a tiebreaker, maybe that's possible, but I don't think it has to go that far. But it is, somebody is going to ask Mr. Knoll exactly why Terry Bradshaw was in there.
Well, I'll tell you one of the reasons that he leaves his first-team people in there, and I'll tell you right after this. First down for Kenny Anderson, down by 20 points. Throws it over the middle, and it's caught at the 42-yard line by Don Bass, number 84. And a first down for Cincinnati. Chuck Knoll has had a philosophy ever since 1973 when his team led San Diego 38-0 at the half, and he took all his first stringers out, and San Diego came back and scored 21 unanswered points. That when you take your first-team people out, it's like, hey, we've won the game and everybody can rest on their laurels, and invariably you give up a lot of points.
Oh,
so
no.
he doesn't like to do that.
Well, now, wait a minute. There's a difference between taking all your first-string people out and taking your starting quarterback.
Well, I think he says when you take your starting quarterback out, it's like waving a flag. We've won the game. We don't need our star anymore.
Well, there is only 4:04 left. I would agree with him at this point.
Pete Johnson in the flat, out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
He's going off.
Bradshaw is now leaving the football field, as you can see there. And we'll head to the Steeler dressing room with under 4 minutes to play in regulation time.
His right wrist, and they can ill afford to have Terry Bradshaw hurt this week. Next week they play Houston. 339 yards today. They need him desperately.
Dick Hoke is the offensive backfield coach. He just had a word with him as he passed him on the sidelines. Another very impressive statistical day for Terry Bradshaw. Second down and 7, Cincinnati. Here's Anderson. Passing on every down. Throws it over the middle, and it's almost caught by Johnson. Lauren Taves had the coverage, 51. As Bradshaw goes down the tunnel into the dressing room. Third down and 7 now. Jimmy Corbett seeing some action. He is a familiar name to Pittsburgh fans because he played his college ball at the University of Pittsburgh. Now in his third year at 6'4", 217. Where's number 81?
Suffered a separated shoulder earlier in the season, was on the injured reserve for several weeks. There's Mike Kruzik. He will be the next quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
From the 45-yard line, Cincinnati trailing 37-17. Anderson has all day, throws it out here. It's caught by Corbett for the first down at the 45, and it takes 2 or 3 people to bring him down. And Corbett and Johnson squaring off. Bradshaw, the report is, will have some x-rays taken on that injured right wrist. And if we get a report, and I doubt if we will, before the end of this game, we'll pass it along to you. Steelers were favored in this game, Bob, by 14 points, so a Cincinnati score here would at least do some damage to what the original good catch out there, and then dropped at the 38-yard line. Kenny Anderson has thrown the ball quite well today and has been under some constant pressure. The New York Jets got a field goal from David Jacobs, 42 yards. Wasn't Tony Linhart kicking for the New York Jets for a while?
Is that Mr. Irsay's friend, Robert Irsay, the guy who gave him a $10,000 raise and then cut him 3 days later?
Fired him, huh? Second down and 10. The ball is at the 45 of Pittsburgh. Under 3 minutes to play now. Anderson lost a high one, and it was intended for Don Bass, and he threw it for Bass, although Bass may have run the wrong pattern because Mel Blount was the closest to the football. Bryant Gumbel and Mike Adamle gathering scores and highlights of all the games around the National Football League. We'll have the finals for you that are available and the partials on the others. NFL Report follows our broadcast as you look at Homer Rice, the Cincinnati coach.
Sam, the report out of Cleveland is 2 minutes to go in the ball game. Houston is on their own 42, trailing Cleveland 14-7.
3 wide receivers. Deacon Turner is out on third down and 10. Kreider 86, Curtis 85, Bass 84. And the lone setback is Pete Johnson. Steelers trying to get some pressure. Now they chase Anderson. Throws it out here. It's caught the 32-yard line. And another Cincinnati first down, so they keep the football again.
Sam, that's 248 yards passing for the Cincinnati Bengals and 114 rushing. That's not bad against the defense that is very highly touted coming into this football game. So the Bengals have played very well on offense.
Well, I repeat what I said earlier, Bob. 82 points the Steeler defense has given up now in the last 3 football games, not counting this drive that they should push one across. And I guess they have to be a little bit concerned heading into the playoffs, giving up that many points.
I would imagine so, yes.
Of course, they do have the #1 offense in the National Football League, which helps. Alexander breaks tackles to the 25. As we head down to the 2-minute mark, 2:37, 2:36 to go in regulation time. And here's another score. Buffalo has gotten a field goal from Nick Mickelmeyer to close the Denver lead to 3 late in the 4th quarter. It's 16-13. Denver, Mickelmeyer's field goal, 32 yards. So Buffalo trying to cause some consternation for Denver here. They're fighting for their very lives to make the playoffs. Second down, 3. Anderson rolling left. Throws it out here, and it's caught. Ross again at the 15-yard line. And out of bounds to stop the clock. Well, NBC Sports World salutes the champions of 1979. We'll review the many magic moments with an exciting look at the year's major events, from Swan Super Bowl to Star Jewel Series and more. Don't miss Super Year 79, the salute to the champions, coming your way Saturday, December 22nd, 4 o'clock Eastern Time on NBC Sports World.
Subtitle Sports in Pittsburgh.
It looks that way, doesn't it? Well, there were some other great accomplishments in 79. Of course, Pittsburgh had its share. First down at the 15-yard line. Deacon Turner in the backfield. Fly pattern to Curtis, and he turned the wrong way, never looked in time, although he was badly underthrown by Anderson. So the clock is stopped as we've reached the 2-minute warning. Cincinnati trying to make it more respectable. They trail by 20. The Steelers now will go to 11-3, but we'll see what happens with the score in a moment. In Pittsburgh, Barney McGinley and Tim Fogarty are spotters, and the statistician George Jordan is up there by Lambert and J.T. Thomas. As he comes shy of the 5-yard line, it'll be third down at about 1. Cincinnati with just 1 timeout remaining.
Well, I don't want to be accused of being a homer, but I got to congratulate him, with the exception of a couple of people who really got beat on fast. They played the Pittsburgh Steelers pretty much even. And I'm proud of it.
I think you're right. You have reason to be. Third down and 1. 6 away from a touchdown. Johnson dives into the pile. He may have touched the 5-yard line, and he had to get there at least. They may bring the sticks out for a measurement on third down and 1. As they unpile, from the bottom is Lauren Taves, 51. And Joe Green, 75, who's still playing football like he did when he came here some 10 years ago. In his 11th year out of North Texas State at 6'4", 260, and the unquestioned inspirational leader of this football team.
Yeah, but he makes a lot better commercials now than he used to.
Isn't that a great one for that soft drink company?
Yes, absolutely.
Marvelous.
One of the best I've ever seen. Does us ex-jocks or jocks proud.
Oh, he's a marvelous guy, too. Johnson and Turner in the backfield on fourth down. Johnson! Yeah, he got it. Great second effort by Pete as he spun out of the grasp of the first tackler and reached the 4.5-yard line. And that's about all he had to do.
Just enough.
35-34. The clock continues to run. Now they stop it with their last timeout.
That's a close look. You see Dwight White, 78. You see Jack Lambert, 58. Dwayne Woodruff, 49. And he still makes enough for the first down.
So 33 seconds away from the end of this one. The only question is, will it be 37-17 when we're done, or 37-24? We'll return with the gentle giant together. I think they had Joe Green in mind.
You think so?
Yep.
1:13 left in Cleveland. Houston on the Cleveland 38 with 1 timeout left. It could be another overtime game.
Cleveland leading that game 14-7. Here it's 37-17. It is first down and goal to go at the Steeler 4.5-yard line. Anderson looking right. Throws it back to the middle, and it's almost intercepted. J.T. Thomas broke up the pass intended for Jim Corbett. As Anderson looked right and then came back with a pass right over the middle. And it stops the clock with 28 seconds to go.
Well, it would be nice for Cincinnati to get that one last touchdown. Here you see Kenny. This is a screen play to the outside. Unfortunately, they weren't allowed. They couldn't screen anybody. I think that pass was intended for Charles Alexander.
I didn't realize Thomas had it in his grasp so easily there.
Corbett did a good job, too. Okay, 41 seconds left. Houston on to Cleveland, 23.
Moving. Again, Anderson looking in the end zone. Now will run. Now he throws, and it's no catch. No catch. They rule he trapped the ball.
Great pickup.
Don Bass thinks he caught the ball.
Okay, we're giving you a report out of Cleveland. Cleveland has just recovered a Houston fumble with less than a minute to go. So it looks like Cleveland's going to pull it out.
And what it does, too, is move Pittsburgh into undisputed possession of first place in the AFC Central Division. They'll be a game ahead of Houston.
You'll see Don Bass catch this one like a first baseman. Good pickup, but it doesn't count.
22 seconds to play. The crowd screaming like it was for the winning touchdown. Anderson looks in the end zone. Now rolls, and they got him back at the 17-yard line. White, 78. Steve Burnett, 64, was the man who finally got him, but White had the excellent pressure on.
6th sack of the day for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And the crowd reacting to that Cleveland-Houston game, Bob.
Which they shouldn't react to.
They don't
Cleveland's
know.
winning. They want Houston. They should have Houston win. Because then both Houston and Pittsburgh are assured of playoff spots.
Here is your final play of the game. Offside against Pittsburgh. 4 seconds to go in the game. The play will come from the 11-yard line. Cincinnati, obviously, will try to put it in the end zone. The Steelers lead by 20. They were 14-point favorites coming in. 4 seconds to go at the 11-yard line as you look at referee Jim Tunney.
Final score, Cleveland 14, Houston 7 in Cleveland.
Congratulations to Sam Rutigliano for getting his team back up after a dramatic loss here in Pittsburgh last Sunday. Quick pop, incomplete, and that should do it. Time has expired on the clock. And the Pittsburgh Steelers leave the field at Three Rivers Stadium in undisputed possession of first place in the AFC Central Division. And as you look at the team leaving the field, take a look at Jack Lambert, a young man who has played with a partial shoulder separation for most of the year.
It's also interesting that while the football game is on, there's a lot of hatred between the players. When the game is over, they're friends, and that's the way it should be.
Well, I think, Bob, you really hit the nail on the head earlier in this football game when you said the Cincinnati Bengals, who had every right to quit at halftime when they were down by 14 points, came back, made it exciting, narrowed the Steeler lead to 7, and were threatening to do some damage. And they hung in there till the end. Even that final drive was just trying to get 7 on the board.
I think Cincinnati ought to make a tape of this football game and send it to Bob Young in St. Louis.
The guy who said that they quit late in the game, huh?
I'm very proud of them. They have very little to look forward to for the rest of this season. They got now 2 games to go.